As far as the timing of each of these sessions, I mean, today was obviously longer than yesterday.
Yeah.
Is it going to ramp up to a peak at some point?
Yeah, eventually you'll hit a plateau, but it's going to be up and down throughout it all. I want to try to figure out the algorithm. If I was you guys, I can't. It's going to be all over the place, so there is a rhyme or reason, but I don't have the graphs or the time, or I'm not smart enough to present it.
But there is I mean, this has all been sort of charted out with,
Yeah.
with conditioning and injuries.
Yeah.
Are you generally pleased just with the condition everyone came back in and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it was. I thought our guys had worked hard. I thought we had a real good OTAs. Our first off season with our new strength and conditioning staff and our trainers. I thought it was really good. I think we got a lot of hard workers on our team, so no one came in overweight, and everyone's looked in shape.
As far as the number 2 quarterback, how are you dividing those snaps between Mullins and
Just like OTAs, they're flipping back and forth. I don't even know who was the 2 today. I don't even know if they're switching every period or day to day, but it's dead even. And we rotate our receivers so much too. So it's kind of hard to tell the difference, at least for myself when I'm out there.
Next step you want to see out of Dante? Finish the season strong. Where you want to see him improve his game?
I want to see him improve a lot. I got a lot of belief in Dante, but I don't think he's there yet. I think there's a whole nother level that he can reach. He needs to do it with size, with mentality, and just getting after it every single day.
A couple scuffles out there today. I mean, you got to be pleased with that energy, but I mean, where are you at in that kind of like interaction with your players?
I'm a little gray on it right now because I didn't actually see it. I saw the people on top of each other, so I don't have a strong opinion yet on what led to it. But I don't like guys fighting at practice. I don't like punches thrown. I like guys pissing each other off. I like guys competing. But I think real toughness is controlling that because you're going to get penalties in the game and things like that. So fighting something I don't want to practice. I'd like guys to get as close as possible to fighting because that is the mentality of football. But that's got to be a controlled aggression. If you can't control that, it's your liability.
Is that something you almost want to see this early in camp to sort of get that out of the way and be able to talk to those guys about it?
Yeah, and I've talked about it, and we talk about it a lot with our team. I think there's a few new guys out there today, so it gives me a bunch of good stuff to address probably tomorrow when I get with them for a team meeting. But, if guys don't have to prove that they're tough by fighting people. If you're not tough, we're going to know that. So are the players. You're not going to be on this team. So that is a very silly way to prove it, especially when you have helmets on.
George said yesterday that, or 2 days ago, whenever it was, that his favorite plays are the plays where he doesn't actually touch the ball, and that obviously blocking is a huge thing for him. Just how important is that mentality as somebody who is on the leadership council of the team to share that sort of team first thing and not necessarily care about?
I think it's great. I'm sure he's not telling the whole truth. Everybody would much rather have the ball, but he does. George is a football player, and that's what you want. And football players don't care. They're competitive as can be, and if they believe in themselves, they want to help the team win. But if you're a football player, you can help the team win in any way possible, and that's what George does. It's exactly how Julio was. If he's going to double team, he's not yelling at us for not getting him the ball. He's telling the other guys they got to make plays to help get him open, and that's how good football players are, and that's how good teams are. And when your better players act like that, I think it teaches the younger guys how they should be.
You guys have said different times that you want George to improve the other aspects of his game. What aspects are those?
I want every time he's going against a guy that he's better than, that he beats him. So I want him to be more consistent in his route running. I want him to keep improving. He was only in his second year last year, and he's an extremely good tight end. He broke a record, so everyone knows. But he can get better at a lot of things. He can get better at blocking. I'd like to say he can get better at the run after the catch, but I do think that's the thing he's doing the best because he did that better than anyone last year. But just the consistency of beating man-to-man coverage, catching the ball, and trying to be the best.
Tight ends being a bigger part of the offense around the league, or is it?
I don't know. I think it depends on your team, depends on your personnel. I don't see how tight ends aren't always a big part, but if you don't have one, then they're not as big of a part. So I think there's not 32 like Pro Bowl tight ends out there. So you usually do the best with your personnel, but it's very tough when you don't have one.
When and why was the decision made to move DJ outside?
We just thought it would give him a better chance out there, which is some of the depth and things, and we know he was more comfortable with it. He's got some versatility, does a great job in nickel, and he did well at safety for us last year. We know he can always go back to safety, but talking with him in this offseason, evaluating our roster, we thought it would be better. He thought so, and we agreed with him that give him a better chance at corner.
And does that, for a guy like that, does it help, to get him a uniform on game days because of that versatility, that if someone goes down, he can fill every spot basically?
Always. I mean, if you're not one of those starting corners on the outside, you better, and you want to dress on game day, you better be able to play all three of the corner spots, which if you go dime, that's another spot, which is just the opposite of nickel, and to have experience at safety and everything, that you could get him in there. And we know he helped us as a returner, and when you can run and you're not scared to hit, you can help at a lot of spots in special teams also.
I'm sure when you signed Jordan Matthews, you were hopeful his career would start to ascend again. Where is he in your eyes? Is he kind of where you expected? Has he been better since he got here?
No, he's been just what we expected. Jordan's a very good receiver with some size and some speed. And, I didn't know him personally, but knowing guys that did know him before he got here, guys like Miles, who was with him in Philly, just the type of pro he is, how smart he is, the way he goes to work. We wanted to get a veteran in here. We wanted to get a guy, preferably with more size, if we found one we liked. And we wanted a smart guy who could help be an example. And he's been exactly that. He's pushing these guys, and he's going to be in the mix.
You mentioned Niles Paul on draft day as somebody who you eventually converted from receiver. Is bringing him in, is there any sort of teaching element that goes on with him and Jalen, with him on this team, someone who's done that?
Not really. I kind of used him as an example because that's just to show how guys can change positions all the time, because we drafted him as a receiver and the next year he was a tight end, and after that we were using him as a fullback. So just to show how bodies can change if you have a certain mentality, and that's kind of where I was comparing him to Jalen. But no, we wanted to have 6 tight ends in this camp. We use 3 tight ends every week on game day. Tight ends, there's not one play on the field where a tight end's not in, because we don't do many 4 wide or 5 wide receiver sets. So to go through a camp, we wanted to have 6, especially so you don't work Kittle the entire camp. And with Selleck being on PUP with his injuries and stuff, we knew we had 5 going into it, so we wanted to add another guy, and to be fortunate enough to have Niles still out there. I didn't realize that till we looked through all this and knew we wanted to have Selleck, and felt very fortunate that there was a player like him out there who also knows our offense and can come in and compete and not just be a camp guy.
I know Quan Alexander's easing his way back in, but what's allowed Trey Greenlaw to step in and get a number of those reps?
He did. He got a lot of opportunities in OTAs because we had a number of guys down, and he did a good job with them. And we got a number of guys in the mix. We're playing 3 linebackers out there where we used to call them 3 linebackers, but it was really 2 linebackers, and we played basically a defensive end as a stand-up Sam linebacker. So there's more of them. There's more guys out there, and I really don't even know who's going with the 1s and 2s, because I know D'Amico's mixing them in, throwing guys in certain periods, and there's a number of guys there, and there's going to be some competition there to see who our final group is.
Have you been able to gauge just sort of his mindset or how he is away from the practice field that's allowed him mentally to be there with the first team?
Not totally. I haven't been around these guys long enough yet, and I've only been around them for 2 days since OTAs. So, but just watching how he carries himself on the field, you can tell that he carries himself pretty well off the field. He knows what he's doing for a rookie. There's not much hesitation, and you can tell he's been doing it the right way so far.
How do you evaluate how Jimmy's doing in full team drills, aside from completions, in terms of lining up the offense, getting the play call in, reading the defense, moving around?
I really don't yet. It's 2 days into it. We're just throwing them out there. Yesterday was the first time there was an O-line in front of them. Today was the second time, but it was nice to get them out there. There's a lot of, it was kind of a mess out there too. I'm very excited to get pads on tomorrow. It's much easier to block people when there's pads on, make it a little bit cleaner, hopefully give them some cleaner looks, but that's something I really don't think about yet. It's so early in it that I used to do that a lot when I was younger, and you realize I'd make decisions every single day, and you realize 2 weeks later that you've made 14 different decisions, and it confuses everybody. So you just try to be patient and wait till the time is right. Usually everything plays itself out over this camp, and you get a pretty good idea as it goes.
Coach Verrett, after that first series of 11-on-11s, what did you see from him today?
I see a guy who's getting his confidence back. I mean, Red has worked as hard as anyone, and really I just went up to him in that period because I didn't get a chance to talk to him yesterday after practice, so I just went up to say congratulations on getting through your first day. I know that was a mental hurdle for you, and hope you felt good about it, and he was excited, and just said, let's just take it day by day, and we'll get there, but he's feeling healthy and stuff, but I just want to go check on him and stuff, see what that mental deal was for him, because when guys have been hurt that much and they come back and they work at that high intensity for the first time, it's not like he's been playing pickup football at YMCA the last few months. Like this is his first time playing football, so that is a very big head game for him. He survived yesterday. I wanted to see what he said, and he was real happy and encouraged how it was, and we'll keep ramping it up as we go.
What have your impressions been of your starting cornerbacks, and do you sense that there's sort of, I mean, chip on your shoulder is a bad cliche, but are they approaching this season with sort of a different attitude, knowing that people like us talk about them the way we do?
I don't know. I never call them in and ask them that. Depends how much they read. Hopefully they don't read very much. Sports very much. I don't mind them reading. But I mean, I hope they don't look at that. If you don't have a chip on your shoulder, whether you're the worst in the league or the best in the league, that means you're on your way out of the league. I mean, it's too competitive. You have to feel that way every single day, and you always better feel like you have something to prove.
You have an update on Josh Garnett?
Oh yeah, Josh Garnett came out. He dislocated his finger. Dislocated? Yeah. He did that yesterday. They popped it back in. Came out today. It popped back out, so we had to leave practice. And we'll be taking a look at that, our doctors now.
There were a couple fumbles today during 11-11s. How do you balance that between, a defense that's actively trying to create turnovers, and obviously your offense, you want them to build good habits and focus on ball security. So how do you balance that, and the praise of the defense and obviously the reprimanding of the offense for that?
I mean, I go back and forth. I mean, when the defense does good, I act like I'm a defensive coach. When the offense doesn't turn over, I act like I'm an offensive guy. So I win every day. No. It's tough, but I mean, that's why it started with us in Atlanta. I mean, it gets very irritating for our runners to be running down the field. The play's been over for 10 minutes, and you have 11 guys still hitting them in the ribs, trying to take the ball out. And the first time I was on a team that did that stuff, it drove me crazy as an offensive coach, because I'm like, guys, this isn't realistic. We've already been tackled by 7 of you. Can you just let our guy run and finish? And then our guy would ease up, and they'll get a fumble at the end. But I love it now. Like, our running backs at first, they'll complain, because that's how I used to feel too. But then they start to realize that's just what we do, and they think about it a lot more. And it starts off with a little irritation, but as you get into the season, I feel like that's just what we do, and they get used to it. And the first team I was on who did that all the time was Atlanta. We carried that here, and I feel like we've been better at not fumbling the ball because of it.
Do you meet with your dad at the end of the day and go over what both of you saw in practice, or hash out things?
No, usually with Sala. I don't like to eat in front of people. I like to be alone, enjoy myself. No, I'm just joking, but kind of. No, my dad's usually running around doing something else. He'll come in at the end of the day sometimes, and we'll talk a little bit, but this is usually not just him and I. He's here having fun, probably acting a little bit how I did when I was younger, just hanging around the building, do whatever I wanted.
Does it make you feel proud to have your dad watching you do what you do?
I don't know if it makes me feel proud. I mean, we're used to it, but it's really cool. I'm happy for my dad that my dad loves football. And he's retired completely, but my dad loves football. And when I'm retired and bored at times, I hope there's something my son can entertain me with. And hopefully it's not football. Hopefully it's taking me on like a boat or something. But I'm glad that I can do that for my dad, because he enjoys coming here, and he enjoys talking to our coaches. He enjoys talking to players, and it just makes me happy that he enjoys it.
Last one, Branch.
Hurd was involved in both scuffles today. You appeared to aggravate people yesterday with his downfield blocking.
Yeah.
You learned that. Is he still kind of a wide receiver with a power backs mentality? And if so, does some of that need to change?
No, I don't want any of that to change. I mean, that's why we brought him here. But I got to see what happened. If he's just physical and blocking people, and people are getting upset with that, then, I mean, shame on them. But if he's doing more than he should to his teammates and things like that, then I have a problem with it. So that's something, luckily, everything's on tape. So instead of guessing what happened, I'll go watch it and decide, and then address it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.